He rocked up at Western Province training as an 18-year-old kid, gave up plate rage.
Yes.
And for those of you who plate rage or Belito, wherever the kids go in Matric here, gave up plate rage to come and train with the Vodacom Cup side with Western Province.
I feel like on my couch, quite comfortable. You know, I know it's SuperSport Unplugged, but I feel like I'm relaxed. Look at the vibe. We're talking box. Got my mates here. You know, Robbie G coming all the way from Cape Town. Rick Schroeder.
That's the big deal.
You know, the big dogs are here. It's like I've invited the big dogs to my couch.
But why did you give us water though?
No, because it's still a professional week. We're still professional.
Fair.
You know, you only have fun after the game.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Fair enough. That's why you're both sitting here and
Could
not on the field this
sparkling
weekend.
water though, bro.
Like you said, you don't want to peak too early into box season.
No, we can't.
Strictly waters first week.
We can't peak too early. But lads, welcome to the Dream Team. I don't want people to think we're just sitting here having fun. We are here for the Dream Team because the Springboks celebrating 30 years since that triumph in 1995. It's the anniversary is this week. I mean, of the final. I mean, a final that changed all our lives. And I think when I think about these 30 years, we've got all you guys here. We've all played a role, and the Boks have played a role in our lives. And you know, Ricky, I mean, you're 14 in 1995. Robbie, I mean, you were born in 2000. Yeah. Juicy J was allegedly born in 1998. You know, I was in 92. So we've all seen different facets of the Springboks and what they mean to us. So Rob, when I say to you the last 30 years of Springbok rugby, what's your favorite memories? What's a highlight?
Well, impossible to pick one. But one thing that sticks out to me, and I'm only going to go on it because it's not too recent. So I was 9 at the time, 2009, and Ricky January scored that chip and chase try in New Zealand against New Zealand. Yeah. It's the one real memory I have when I was still a youngster. Incredible. Like, come off the bench to do that, change the game. And that was that for me. That and the Lions tour in 2009. I don't know, 2009 seems to be the year that I remembered the Springbok stuff.
That's when I was Matric.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
so nice.
Five.
Yeah,
that was a great 5.
Because Ricky's seen pretty much every single test match Springbok played since readmission.
Seen it all.
So
it's nice to have him here.
You know, surprisingly, I grew up. I watched the '95 World Cup, and I'll never forget. I actually watched it at Spur, if I'm not mistaken, one of our partner venues going forward for the incoming series. But watched the '95 World Cup at a Spur. But the funny thing is, I love Jonah Lomo. So I had like a little kafie.
But don't forget, it's not the All Blacks.
No, but listen to it. I'm confusing the enemy.
I don't want you to get excited here.
So love Jonah Lomo because of his bulldozing runs. Yeah. But I had a green. I asked my mom to make me like take one of my green shirts and draw the Springbok emblem on my shirt. Wow. And because I'm a pastor's kid, they didn't want to put the Castle Lager on but I mean, that was my first introduction to Springbok. Okay. And I was for the record, I was 4 years old and I was, excited to start getting, allegedly. But I was excited that's when I started awakening that rugby love. I mean, drawing a Springbok emblem on my green shirt. Special. I mean, Pep ran out of shirts at the end of because I did it every year. But that was my memory of Springbok rugby. And
was it the final that you watched?
Yeah, the '95 World Cup at that Spur with my little.
What did you order? Like at Spur, do you remember?
That floaty.
Yeah,
soda
naturally.
100%.
Was the soda floats in '95? You ordered me. I don't know about soda floats.
Actually, genuine question.
No, there was soda floats. That's a Coke and an ice cream, for goodness sake.
Juicy?
Man, for me, I've quite a lot, but I think for me, 2019. 2019, and also just that combination. Beams, that beautiful finish. And also the commentary for me. Gosh, probably, I think also the energy around that day as well. I think you could feel the vibe in SA and everyone just coming together. You know what I mean? And I think also when they won, I'd called my mom because I was so busy with my Varsity Cup season that year. So I called my mom, like, Mommy, 2023, I'm going to be there.
Sure.
You know? So it was that moment for me. It was like, damn, you know.
As a player or fan?
As a player.
Sure.
I was like, you know, I'm going to work my ass off and I'm going to get there, you know? And not as a player, though. I was there, but not as a player, but the role was different. But also, I mean, we watched the
Just if you're there a player, would have seen you. But
You would have been on this Hall of Fame.
oh my God, this guy.
But then you can clarify that you went there as a player. I thought it was a 33-man squad. I'm like, it's like, but I'm there as a player.
I almost got the call-up. You know? Just got a bit of an injury there, a bit of a niggle.
Always injured.
It would have been there though if it wasn't for the injury. Huh?
Definitely.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Back you, bro.
No, but I must say, like, because we all got different memories. I always think, when I think of the Springboks, my favorite was, my first real memory was 98 Tri Nations win. And, you know, with Gary Tashman and, I mean, Bobby Skinstad will get team. When I saw Bobby Skinstad, the dummy, the dummy switch against the Wallabies to score, I realized I'll never hit a ruck again. Even though I was a forward, I realized there was a day I'm gonna stop hitting rucks.
So you based your whole rugby career on that?
Yes.
On that moment?
Yes. Even though I never touched the back, being the backline, I've decided that I'm gonna dummy, be like Bobby, have some fun. But since then, like, you know, winning the Tri Nations, and it was so weird being a kid then, like, we only knew success against beating the All Blacks. Like, we saw, yes, maybe win the Tri Nations in 96, 97, but every big moment, it felt like we beat New Zealand. You know, we went down to New Zealand and Peter Rousseau slapped up, scored a try, then we beat them there. So, like, I just grew up thinking, the Springboks, when it matters most, we beat the All Blacks. And I realized I was wrong for a long time. for a while, it's okay. It didn't work like that. But then obviously from there, I think the love, because I mean, I don't remember 95 too well. But I remember like 98, you know, I was in grade R. Then, you know, okay, cool, now this game starts.
You were good at 98?
Yes.
God, Kooks, how old are you, my friend?
Don't worry about that. It's not an age segment, it's the dream team. Guys, talking about, you know, dream teams, we do have a job to do. We're not just here to talk about Juice's rugby days and discuss why he was not in the 2020 World Cup squad. We are here to discuss and put together the dream team. And the public has given us this job. I think our job is bigger than what Sekou has to do this year. That's how big our job is. I mean, we've got 15 test matches, 15 positions, from Loosehead prop, which is where Juicy played, and then obviously hooker. I've dabbled there all the way down to 15, where Robbie operates. But it's an exciting campaign. You know, the viewer at home can scan the QR code and you know, make their pick. But our job is to guide them, guys, and also to pick our team. I'm excited to see where we're gonna go with this campaign, because there's certain positions in our specialist positions we play where I'm sure we'll have lots to debate about. But when I look at this dream team, before we get into today, the Loosehead props today, Robbie, what are you thinking? Where do you think is going to be the contentious, the big debating points?
You know what, I actually think on the wing. We've had some incredible wingers. If you think about it, like, obviously, so hooker as well, but for me, the wings, like, we've had some iconic wingers, current guys that are certainly in the mix of greatest of all time, and or should be in a dream team. So I'm gonna go wing. I'm gonna go wing.
But wing's tough, eh?
It's a tough one. It is very tough.
That's actually a tough one.
And we know how opinionated our South African audience and public is. So I love the fact that you're saying we're going to guide them.
Yes.
Guide them with our limited expertise here, with our bands. But I think it's a personal one for me, but scrum off. I think scrum off, we're going to, and possibly, let's throw to the forwards as well, that number 6 jumper.
There's captains, there's coaches in there.
Who do you want to please?
For me, listen, the number 8 jersey, you know, the number 8 jersey, number 2, because I'm more focused on the spine. Do you know what I mean? I think, and we've had some really, really good guys playing those in those number 2 and number 8 jerseys. I think also number 10, guys, because you know, whenever we selected a squad and whenever selected a team, it always revolves like, okay, who's going to be our 10?
Yeah,
who's going to be our Iceman? You know, who's going to be the guy that's to control everything? You know, so definitely that spine for me.
That spine is tough. I mean, I think I want to start at the beginning, where we are now, Loosehead prop.
Yeah.
That's going to be the big one. And I want to reveal
Please.
our candidates.
Come on, talk to us.
Reveal our five.
Talk to us, Cookie.
We can sit here and talk all day, but now you must get the crux of the matter. So at Loosehead prop, we got Randt.
Come on now.
Stop it.
Steven Kitsoff.
Oh, spicy plum.
Tenda the Beast, Mtawarira.
Oh, beast.
You ready? Oxenchair.
Oh, and I am.
And lastly, Guthrie Steenkamp.
I for sure.
That is how I remember good old Guthrie. But I mean, that list, you see, that's the greatest 2 sets we've ever played for the Springboks. And now we're putting in the dream team. When you look at that 5 names, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Listen, amazing. Like, Australia. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be very tough to even choose one person that I would say, hey, you know, it's going to be in my dream team in the jersey because, I mean, that is quality, bro.
Yeah.
I think your first name already, I'm like, okay, who's next? You know, I mean, beast. You know, for me, he has been like that guy, you know, Mr. Reliable, you know. And then you have Ox, never fails. Do you know what I mean?
Made it cool to eat cake again. Because there's a stage when, you know, the props became, you know, just like in society, making them too cool, too woke. You know? Guys have got hands. Sometimes the prop must just eat cake, man. Sometimes just eat cake.
They were drinking matcha for post-match recovery.
He makes it so cool to be a prop.
Why were props having, you know, body fat of 50%? Skin folds were a thing. Come on. I was like, you know what, guys, let's bring back cake.
Yeah.
World Cup winner.
There we go.
In the top 5. Come on now.
And then, I mean, that first name you mentioned.
Scary guy.
Randt.
Scary.
I would think we must dub him the comeback king.
The first ever. The original.
The original, the OG. I mean, to go win in 95 and then come back, go through what he's gone through, injuries, knee injuries, and then to come win a World Cup in 2007. And, I mean, Rassie called him back in 2003, if I'm not mistaken. Rassie called him back to come and play at the Cheetahs. And from there, the man propelled the Springboks, revived the Springboks to another World Cup. Oh, man.
Also, that's not just a rugby career. That's like a history lesson. 95 to 207. There's so much has happened in that time. That's a history lesson.
His first World Cup was wearing those old school cotton jerseys. I was coming with like, what is this material? Why is it so tight?
Talk about skin folds. It's all tight to him. I was like, okay, can we go back?
No, the man was a beast, bro.
Yeah.
I think also with what you just said, just speaks on his mentality. You know what I mean? To be able to be injured, come back, and still operate at a level like that. You know, I mean, scary human. I think if I were to meet the guy faced off, like, hey, bro, you know, even if you haven't played the game yet, I'm sorry, you know.
But they all have walked a journey, and they've all have worn different kits, and we've seen plenty of kits along the way for the Springboks. You know, you got us back in '96. I want you guys to look at this kit. When I pass around, I mean, that's a proper old school Springbok. That's the first one I remember.
Can I tell you one thing? Like, the kit's awesome. But if that forearm was coming towards you, no way. You can go through.
You know, I spoke about the green, the emblem. This is the one that was based on when my mom drew with the little protea there. Didn't put the lion lager in there, though.
There's the... I know it's sponsored by Nike now.
Okay.
But this is... I mean, I still...
Is that your favorite?
We'll rate it. I've always said the 99 jersey is the best looking Springbok jersey you've had.
And then classic shoulder pads.
Born, yeah.
We don't see that very often now. Shoulder pads. I was a vet of shoulder pads at 10. I was protecting my shoulders at all costs.
I disturbed my dad so much to get this. You know what I mean? I had...
You wanted one of the...
With the chest guard.
pads. There's the shoulders, the ribs, and it was here, and it was very tight inside as well. I mean, this was amazing.
This is 04, the comeback kit under Jack White.
Yeah.
I mean, this is where now, you know, you can see Ox's back and the Springbok, the jerseys on this baggy.
But you can see there's joy in this photo. He's back in the box.
But I don't think he even envisioned himself to play when he got that call from Rassie to come to the Cheetahs to see himself in the Bok jersey again. 50.
That's a great jersey.
Do you mean he was... By the time, he was the most capped Bok at the time until Victor, Eben, and all of them came along. What a man.
2007, World Cup winning kit. I mean,
So this is where it starts getting tough.
this one skin folds means something.
Shoulder pads,
That jersey, gentlemen, for me has to be one of the all-time favorites.
This is the one I remember. This is in my top 3. But the 2007 World Cup jersey is in my top 3. I'm not saying which one.
We'll
but
see. But now we're getting to Gato Stinkum in the 2010s. That's also with Barney. That's a great jersey.
Scary, man. I'm sorry.
You don't want to meet him in
tight
LA.
end properties at Ellis Park, and he might have scrum against him.
Sure.
Well, that's a scary thought. Definitely.
2014, the Beast. Listen, I know the Boks have changed quite a few, but the Essex era was very underrated in terms of in terms of Bok kits.
No, I like it.
The Essex era.
Yeah, the Essex era. I mean, I love those jerseys. I mean, I'm a big collar guy like that in 2017. I love a collar.
But you know what's like scary about this? This 2017-18 jersey, it wasn't great times for the
We've lost
Boks.
those two memories in.
But-
we've got 2015, 2018.
2017 one, I'm like, that
I would
transition,
love
you know?
to know what Beast was thinking here. Like, look at this guy's face.
Yeah.
Like, I think he's already like logged in and he's probably seeing someone's ribs somewhere.
I don't know what I was thinking in 2017.
I'm done.
Spicy Plum, 2019 World Cup.
Hey.
Yeah.
That's another great. I mean, another World Cup winning jersey. I mean, they should get extra love, eh?
But I'm really concerned for the props here with this tight jerseys. Claustrophobic.
I mean, but they need room to breathe. But especially now, like Ox, like you can see now Ox in 2023 because now you see it's not as tight. KX have been involved.
yeah.
You see.
But that's a triple XL.
But also you can imagine like some of the guys aren't too stoked about a tight jersey. But then the guys who are sort of slimmer but at proper, they're not worried about it. If people are watching them, the guns are all popping in the right places. So I think a couple of the guys, they're not too bothered about a tight jersey.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think also it might be a way to sort of like just destabilize the guys that we're probably scrumming with. Because when you have to bind all that type of stuff, you want to grab
Technical
on
chat.
on the jersey.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So
I'm listening because you said you're the only one who's played prop here. So
I've never played prop. Okay.
So Loosehead
I almost made the shift. Okay, I never, but I'm just saying, like with the jerseys, like that having to bind, they're just trying to make sure that makes it difficult for the opposite guy to actually grab onto it. Do you know what I mean?
Those older jerseys, you grab in a handful.
No, I don't say it.
You got a full.
There's no need for that crouch touch pose. Just
Especially when it's wet, you grab and you twist and then it's like, it's just...
Because the thing is with Loosehead prop, I mean, we're gonna dive deep in these guys, but with Loosehead prop, I mean, it's an interesting position, right? Because it's gone through quite a few changes over the years. Yes, obviously, like the technical terms, your head is just on the outside of the scrum, but like, the guys are going. It's Loosehead because some guys are like the better ball players, or the Ellis Genges of the world.
A lot more agility.
But like, Ricky as a scrum half for you, what did you want from your Loosehead? When you said you Loosehead, and you've captain Kitsy before, when you set him down and Loosehead, I mean, like, I need you to do a job. What did you say to him?
I thought, Kitsy, just keep your feet out of the way so I can feed the ball. No. And then you look at your tight head to give you the right shoulder. No, but I think Loosehead has always been a cutter. I mean, I've been very fortunate to play with him since school. And this is the amazing thing about Kitsy, as he rocked up in 2010. So we played together grade 11 at Paul Roos Gymnasium in Stellenbosch.
Did you go to
Paul Roos?
Yeah.
Thank you. We want to make sure.
It's on the record, I was at Paul Roos. Kitsy was also at Paul Roos. And then we played together at grade 11. And in our matric, obviously, we beat Grey as well. And then...
to put it out there.
We're talking about the box. Sorry, guys. Talking about the box.
Different dream team.
Yeah. But the one thing then in 2010, so Kitsy was still in matric in 2010.
Yeah.
He rocked up at Western Province training as an 18-year-old kid, gave up plate rage.
Yes.
And for those of you who plate rage or Belito, wherever the kids go in matric here, gave up plate rage to come and train with the Vodacom Cup side with Western Province. And I don't want to be one of those people, back then I then saw this guy special. But I think that sacrifice of him making that sacrifice, and that's why he became a legend in a Bok jersey. But Kitsy giving up his plate rage to come to train with the Western Province side and go on to achieve the accolades.
So that's probably for me the big difference between Loosehead and Tighthead, because a Tighthead would never give up plate rage.
That's it. That's the thing.
It is very simple.
That is, I think that
that's how simple it is. But you talk about Kitsy. I want to dive deep into his career because he made being a a bench player quite cool in the bomb squad.
yeah.
You know, I want to play the clip of when he runs on in the 2019 World Cup final because if you watch here, he's jogging on bomb squad.
Yeah, I mean, it's coming to finish
and then he goes to work.
to demolish.
He's going to work.
Do you think he's, 44 minutes in, 43 minutes in, you reckon he's probably gone, you probably could have given me 30, you don't have to give me a few.
Oh, gentlemen, what a moment. What a moment. Look at that.
Wow.
Come on, Kitty!
Come on now.
But he's
Just look at that.
Look at that.
and that is what a Loosehead should do.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is
Ball or two. And the rest is history.
Yeah, God, literally.
so. Kooks, I mean, look, you asked about what's the difference between a tight and Loosehead.
But is the work just explain to us technically why they won that? Was it they popped, wasn't it? We know that they popped.
No, listen. I think it was just start with Kitty's just positioning there. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like he just made sure that he was flat table on him, and he was just went straight for his chest. Because if you look there,
Yes.
like he's really just like he's not coming out or in. He's forcing him to stay tight. So he's pushing up in his chest. Do you know what I mean? So
Coach
Juicy just
too nice.
But what I love about that is you know the bomb squad, the concept of the bomb squad.
Yeah.
You know, we love it, but you know, like he comes on, does the job immediately, and he just shows the value that the game is no longer about having just a starting 15. But you know what made the moments quite cool? When Steven Kitsov was coming on the field, was coming off, the passing of the torch to say, beast. I mean, what a career he's had. I mean, we talk about scrums now. When he started in 2009, Robbie's favorite year.
Yep.
I mean, this is what he was doing to full victory. Please, we need a clip of what Beast was doing. no wonder Robbie loved rugby. Did I poor Phil?
For full victory.
look at that.
Look at that. No. Night.
Like, there's no chance.
He didn't give full victory an opportunity to
You
breathe.
know what I mean? It's the thing of what are you doing in front of me?
Jeez.
What are you doing in front of me?
He's come out of that scrum blue. His face is...
What are you doing in front of me?
Wow.
Good scrum again from the Springboks, and Brisso's pushed it away. The technique we have, Joel. I mean, Beast,
Beast is a scary man.
Vickery's really struggling to get ahead of him here.
My word.
But when we speak about the props, like, the props have given us all that go forward throughout these our dominant years. It's been because of our scrum penalties.
Oh, hear the crowd.
Oh my goodness.
Did the Lions win a scrum here?
Yeah, when Vickery went off.
Crowd's loving it as well.
And it's crazy, doesn't it? They have to hold the ball for the crowd to go Beast.
I love the referee says to you, there's 3 penalties now. I mean, you give me, it's either you learn to scrum or you get a yellow card. But, you know, Beast, we know his story, he comes from Zimbabwe, but probably one of the most loved Springboks. I mean, not many, you know, you get Sia, you get... Not many guys had their own chant in stadiums, and everywhere you went, Beast. It didn't matter where you play.
And I think people really resonate or loved him because he was very charismatic on the field after a big scrum. Props are usually they're quiet, introvert, they don't say a lot, they do their job. But Beast got excited, almost like an NFL player. When he dominated someone, he'd be...
He took pride in it.
And that was cool. That was that human element that we don't usually see with sportsmen. Him just expressing himself. So, I mean... Flip, it gets me excited. I want to...
You don't know what you're going to do, but you're going to be there.
I want to be there.
Like, you know, and another thing about that, leave what he can do on the rugby field. You know, I've personally experienced the guy. You know, I think I'm lucky enough to say, you know, he is one of, you know, my good friends. He's a wonderful person. I think the first time I met Beast was in Gateway, right? I think he was doing a bit of shopping. And I was there obviously on holiday. I think they were in pre-season during December. So I see this.
So that's why you were in that squad, isn't it?
Now we're connecting the dots.
We're finally connecting the dots together.
I see this really huge man, and I'm like, I'm an Beast man, you know. So you know, obviously when you see someone that you idolize, that you watch on TV, you know what I mean? I walk up to him, I'm shaking, you know.
Well, I would also shake if I see Beast.
But you know, the way that his warm embrace, bro, you know, it's just like, bro, just sit down with me, let's have a chat. So it was, I'm like, I think that's why also people get to really love him that much. Do you know what I mean? And I think for me, 2019, he was one of the unsung heroes in that whole tournament. The way that he scrummed, I think, who was he scrumming against in England? I mean, in England,
Cool.
I mean, the guy left the field, but like I think probably tore a hamstring or something. Imagine scrumming someone tearing hamstring.
Because those two Italian props when the guys were tearing hamstrings because of Beast, man. I'm like, now because of you, Beast, now some because of the scrums now, because it's coming too well. There's no more props. Now it's going to be contested. But
so, man, I mean, what a wonderful guy, you know. And I think he truly stands for what a Springbok is. Do you know what I mean? So big ups to Beastie.
Do you know what I love about Beast and Kooks is the eras they played in. So they experienced in their career, they experienced the lowest low. Like Kooks and Beast, I'm pretty sure, played in that record loss in New Zealand, and then they went on to win World Cups, two World Cups.
None of the Boks played that day, but
they experienced it. And that's what I like. They had the lowest of the lows to the highest of the highs in their career, and I think to get over those lows, I'm sure there's emotional baggage. Like think about the next time we play the All Blacks in New Zealand after getting a record defeat.
It's trauma, right?
Yeah. I mean, it was traumatic for us. Imagine playing.
And for them. And then talk about leaving rugby and on the highest possible note. You know, Beast played his last game in the 2019 World Cup final. And so did Os Duran. Ricky, you mentioned as a comeback story. I mean, Os was someone that, you know, when I grew up, left, comes back, gets another World Cup, first Bok to win 2 World Cups. I mean, special.
And remember, between 2000 and 2003, he was really struggling with injuries. Wanted to call it quits. And again, just shows the tenacity of wanting to represent your country, playing for the Boks. That speaks volumes of his action. And you know, while speaking and we're listening, don't you guys feel as well like the Springbok jersey is like a superhero costume?
It has to.
Because, I mean, these guys are doing things for us to come back. And after knee injuries, after collapsing on his neck as well, and then go win a World Cup, and then finish it, like you've mentioned, last match, 2007. That is what fairy tales are made of, bruh. Like,
I mean, and Ox, I mean, for you, Rob, I mean, like, you're the youngster, the baby amongst us all. I mean, I'm sure for you, Ox is some sort of folk hero. I mean, I'm sure for some youngsters, like they hear the name Ox, can't remember him from his younger years.
There's absolutely the legend of Ox. I mean, Os, the legend of Os. I don't have many memories of watching him, but I know that, like, I can imagine stopping and then going back after a break. I mean, if I don't kick for poles, you know, I do it for a little bit of fun. If I have a 2-week break and then I go again, my hip flexor's gone, and I'm only 25. I'm not scrumming, but I'm not like, getting pressure on my neck. But
so if you take a break, do you go from kicking 50% to 34?
I'm always at 100.
Okay.
I haven't missed a kick
make sure
well, at least on Instagram. It's a long day. It's a full day.
I love how Robbie says, like, he didn't see Os much as a kid, so we need some footage.
Get some footage, please.
Let's see what you saw.
As I say, history lesson. Okay,
Pixelated.
Australians.
Go for it.
Yes. Leg drive.
Raw power.
Yo, what a big man.
And he's still carrying the weight of the jersey as well.
Yes.
And I'm not talking the power, the heaviness of the sweat. Take the jersey. My word.
No, this man was a different breed.
Look at that.
24 years old.
He doesn't look 24
It's
then.
quite something.
Was it 24 then?
24 years old, mate.
Very big and powerful man. He hits the line.
Look at that.
No, they've held him up. He's a jump.
Another thing a Loosehead should do. That agility, get over the ball in hand.
Speaking about agility, I've got a story about Kooks. Genuinely, so I couldn't believe how agile he was. So we played paddle a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
And so I got him on my team, and he'll forgive me for saying this, but when we were, when they paired us together, I went, like, I'm actually not too bad. And They've
He's got a broken neck.
Yeah. So I'm like,
He's thinking those things.
yeah, and like, I'm not saying I'm in great nick, but he's not like, he's a prop. So I'm like, okay. First point, he's pulled out, so I think the ball's going to die. He's pulled out this miraculous shot, and he's around the court, he's there, and I'm like, okay, I might do that. I'm not he's not the problem here, I am.
You realize that why he's got the 2 World Cups, but
Exactly.
what makes us also quite special, 97, is the Rugby Player of the Year.
Yeah.
There's also another prop who's won is the Rugby Player of the Year in 2010, Katja Steenkamp. I must say, Juicy, even if you guys agree, and all you guys, probably got a little bit underrated.
I agree.
Because of what's happened, like obviously the kid season, the Oxes, chasing the sun.
Yeah.
But Katja Steenkamp feels like it's gotten underrated, but I mean, to be a prop and to win, SA Rugby Player of the Year in 2010, I mean, what a career Guthrie had as well.
Listen, my bra, what a scrummager. Do you understand? Like, a fight, I mean, is also one of the top scorers as a prop. You know what I mean?
Top
Like
scorer.
You know what I mean? He's pretty much everywhere, bro. Like, as you said, pretty much of an unsung hero, but like his work is more of that work that you'll never really see. It's not too fancy. He's there. You know what I mean? But, a beast, bro. I think also, as you said, you look at the man, he's very scary. I also liked how, like, his transition after his rugby career, he's still giving back to rugby, more especially to props, teaching them how to scrum, and he's very passionate about it as well. And he has this Zumba thing that he does as well. Like,
I've seen it.
Bro, I promise you that workout is actually really good, but like, it works your shoulders, your back. So pretty much that strengthening what a prop should have.
But the Zumba and the movement started quite early. I mean, if you look at, honestly, his trial in 2010, I mean, you talk about him being such a great trial scorer, being everywhere in the Zumba.
Yeah.
Look at the work he does here. Look at the work.
Low inside for PJ Porter. Almost got isolated, but it comes again for the Springboks over the top.
On your
On the wing. Put another one on his jersey there.
That died.
I think that's the first prop to celebrate the try. Wow.
29 today. Guthrie Steenkamp.
Was it 29?
Better present than an international
25-7, 31 minutes in.
against the French.
Look at that. Hold it, wait.
And it looked like he had a bit of a ball in 2 hands, gentlemen, and then he's like, I got this.
And I think a lot of people would ask, what's he doing on the wing? It's his work rate.
Yes.
He worked hard to get into that good position to score the 5-pointer.
Beautifully played.
Ball in 2 hands, transfers it nicely.
And look at the dive.
No, it's brilliant.
I love that. He did the classic prop that where the ball is in 2 hands, but you don't even look once. But the ball is in 2 hands.
But he transferred it
At the end.
for the handoff.
Yeah, exactly.
Brilliant.
Exactly. I mean, what a finish. But we go to our last prop. Oxen Chair.
Oh.
Probably Ox has probably played the least amount of games out of all these guys, but what a story he's had. Who doesn't love Ox?
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen the work he does, and Rob, it's probably a guy you've seen from start to finish in his career, and you watched him become the Springboks, and now also probably one of the most loved Springboks we have.
Yeah.
Do you know what I like about Ox and sort of any rugby player in general, but a journeyman? So Ox's varsity cup followed all the steps to become a Springbok. That for me, because I can imagine, I've never played varsity cup before. I mean, you guys can speak about it, but if you play sort of maybe 3 or 4 seasons, you can maybe feel it becomes a bit, the dream sort of lost. You're at a really good level, but you're not quite there. He's stuck in it. Like, he stayed in the fight. Of course, he was dominating guys at Varsity Cup and as you went. But I really like the journey and the fact that he was brought so much into SA Rugby and becoming a Springbok.
And it started at under 16 Grand Como week already. On to your point, that shows that South African rugby works. SA Rugby, our systems, we speak of grassroots to greatness, all of these wonderful catchphrases, but it's real. It's real. It's Ox has played at almost every single level and climbed that ladder to reach the top.
No, it's special. And also, for those who watch Chasing the Sun too, I think the scrum episode for us fours was probably the best one, and we had to pull some of Ox's best moments from that episode.
Your head is literally under those guys' shoulder. And then, but as a tight head now, my head is under you, like your chest. So you kind of like feel squeezed.
So there's a real explanation that not the one we were giving.
Very difficult to scrum against.
Yeah, next to your neck, into your chest. Always try and keep him out and keep him down.
He has a weird way of just finding a way. There's, I think he's probably got one of the strongest backs you can get.
Yes.
If I can bend or not, you know. You look like a bar fridge.
They say when you lucid, your back must be flat. I mean, there must be a table, but not a bar fridge. So that's the difference. So that's the difference. It's gonna look like a bar fridge. But I mean, what a story you see. I mean.
Now, remember what I told you about that head thing, head to chest?
Yes.
You said it, you mentioned it.
Do you know what I mean? Bro, I promise you, it's one of the difficult things to like contend against, because once that head is there, it's like, let me just give up.
So when you're playing tight head, you see, when the guys got
You are giving all the insight, bro.
What are you doing? Can you explain to the viewers, like when the guys say, oh, so there's kids watching, don't learn from each other.
I have never scrubbed at prop, go to people. I almost transferred, but I was just like, nah, this is not for me. The head, the neck and injuries and all the type of stuff was like, Yeah, so, but you know, when you scrum, it's, or when you're in a scrumming session, you know what I mean? You take the knowledge from the front guys to the back. And like, it's the same principle for everyone, you know. But then obviously, you know what your prop is going to be doing, so that type of stuff. But anyway,
he knows the right shorty once he can pick and go.
Yeah.
Exactly what he said.
but then back to Ox, gents. Like again, one of those guys as well that on and off the field, an amazing lad. You know what I mean? And got some dance moves. I don't know if you guys have seen my Instagram with him.
Oh,
Got some there's one I'm gonna do with you guys just now. Don't worry. So a lovely guy as well, gents. I think one thing I also like about him. Let's leave the scrums a bit, the technical stuff. He's on the ball. Like he's one of the quickest props, bro. Like he's ballistic. I think he was playing for still at the Cheetahs, right? And I think he made a break. And I'm like, is this a prop that's running here?
In open space. It's like a beauty. Just marching down.
Right, he's very skillful as well. I mean, he told me he's like one of the best. He's considered to be the best passers.
Okay.
Like I don't know. I don't remember what he said, but he's considered to be like compared to a 12 in terms of his passing.
He's telling us.
Yeah.
He told me.
I just love it. Juicy's besties with everyone. All the props. And he's still denying that he's
exactly. But guys, the hard part. We got to vote now. Because again, we're guiding the public.
Okay.
Let them know before they go and make their vote and scan the QR code. Ricky said this. Robbie said this. Sia said this. So we got to charge them. Ready, Rob? Who's your vote? Who's in your dream team?
I'm going to lock mine in, and I'm going to go Stephen Kitsoff. Purely because of the reason, also like journeyman, and then the era of which he played, so experienced that record lost the lows of the box, and then went on to win 2 World Cups with all that emotional baggage and all that. And I think I'm going to go with him. He also made, as you say, he made coming off the bench cool, which was never was. When you're on the bench, you're sort of like, you're not texting, you're not like putting it to the world, And now it's like, well, I'm on the bomb squad.
I'm worried about Robbie just picking him so he can stay in the same pedal.
That's what I'm thinking.
That's what I'm going with.
It was part of the reason, but...
Ricky?
Yeah, I'm going to be objective. I mean, I attended school.
Where was that again?
With Paul Roos. I attended Paul Roos with student kids. But for me, Randt is really someone that I think speaks volumes of the Springbok. What a Springbok stands for. Number 1 on the field, number 1 in the people's hearts. Yeah. And someone that fought adversity and came back and finished with a fairy tale. Absolutely a thing of beauty, man.
Juicy?
Me, gents, beast and Taurir.
Yeah.
Beastie. Like, I think also before the 2019 World Cup final, the World Cup campaign, right? I didn't really look at, because when we look at men of the matches and people that could put it like, we had a debate, guys. Who do you think really gave us the performance of the tournament? And we never really look at props to be like, hey, these guys are major contributors to our success. And Ubi's, the way that he scrummed that campaign, leave that campaign alone. We've just seen some clips of him. Do you know what I mean? So for me, looking at the DNA of the Springboks, we get a set piece, we want to get penalties, right? Ubi's for me is that Mr. Reliable. I know
he's not going to let you down.
90-something% of I'm getting a penalty there. I'm not joking with anyone. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So for me, in terms of that, and I'm trying to build my scrum and my set piece to be beast for me, I have to go with it. That's my pick.
No,
spotlight on you.
No, as the host, I'm just guiding the party. I'm just
you are not going to get out of this one, right? You are not going to get out of this one.
Okay.
Number one.
It's quite tight. So I figured all these guys have been barring cutthroat. They've got, if I'm not mistaken, they all got World Cup winners. Some got 2.
Yeah.
Won Tri-Nations Rugby Championships. Yeah. Beat the British and Irish Lions. So I figured, how do I separate all these props and figure out who's the greatest Loosehead prop? And I thought, who's the best golfer out of all of them?
Of course, that's going to be your reference point.
That's the sort of reference, like, who do I trust to call if I need someone to partner in the end?
Okay.
And Kitsy's a fantastic golfer, so I've got to go with Kitsy as my guy. But it is quite tight, but I think Stephen Kitsoff for me. I think, the journey he's going through, also from being a starting prop, and then the bomb squad, making sure that role is something unique, and it was very tight. Also was a big one as well.
Yeah, but I still blame you guys for not being born in 95. now we're leaving us completely out of this now. Joking.
We didn't understand. But listen, before we talk about next week, box season is officially back. Got the Barbers this weekend. Juicy, what are you expecting? What would you like to see from the Springboks this weekend?
Again, before I tell you, you understand? I think now you guys already got it just that,
that you're best friends with all the rugby players.
Exactly. So
what does Sia tell you, basically?
No, not him. I'm still gonna get to him. So my boy Fassi calls me. He's like, "Hey, Jess, listen."
His boy Fassi.
Juicy. Hey, it's very cold here in Cape Town. It's very wet. I'm like, no, don't worry. So basically, chat of Fassi on Saturday. So I'm really expecting a really fun game. I'm expecting the Barbers to actually bring up, some interesting stuff. Because how barbarian rugby is, right?
So apparently they train on Long Street this week. So that's how it hurts.
I think for me this week is just I'm just excited, to see the Springboks back in my screens again. You know what I mean? We're in a celebratory mood. So with this game, I'm just like, what? I just want to see some nice flames. I know we're gonna win.
Some nice flames in rugby or okay.
All of them. You know what I mean?
It's not happening in Cape Town.
The flames are coming out. The Banavins and Kooks are also going to be popping. So I'm really excited, and I want to celebrate the Springboks. I think it's going to be the first weekend that we get to see our guys back and then go on this journey. Do you know what I mean? So I'm expecting some flames. It's going to be really nice.
Rix?
Yeah, I think it's going to be exciting. Robbie Deans, we know, wants so many Super Rugbies. He's an attacking coach, but going up against our Springboks, so I think it will be a nice challenge for us for the box. Definitely, we're taking the win. But Cape Town, the venue. What a perfect place to have the first Springbok International.
Nice.
The scene is set. The mountain is there, the ocean is there, and you guys just need to rock up.
Robbie will be there. Rob, how are you feeling?
Exciting rugby gets played at the stadium there in Cape Town. Stormers, box, everything. I hope points. I just want to see points. Doesn't matter which way. Obviously, I'd like a Bok win, but I've seen some of the guys that Barbarians team have brought up, and it's going to be points galore. I hope the weather holds up.
Oh yeah.
because it's looking a bit wet.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm hoping it's not one of those games where it's like, I just want to throw
Muddy,
the ball
yeah.
around, but you can't catch it. So there's no point. So start taking threes.
Are you gonna go?
I don't think
Man's booked and busy. He's booked and busy.
It's hashtag get Robbie to the game. But next week, we go to our next positions.
Yeah.
Okay. Quickly before, quick touch. Anyone do you think would be in that mix? Who do you think of a name who we nominated? Who do you think is going to be in that mix, Rob?
Person in Dan Carter's nightmares. Gotta be. Maybe.
Pongi would be in there,
John Smith?
I think.
We'll see. Excited for next week.
John Smith?
Okay. Maybe.
Sure.
Listen, maybe a few of them could be playing this weekend. Got nominated for next week. But lads, great start. Good to see you.
Yeah.
Loosies are sorted out. And
Loose forwards.
loose heads sorted out. What we need now is people to vote.
Yeah.
We've cast our votes.
Yeah.
The people now at home, all you got to do is make your vote. We've tried to help you. We've given you all sort of advice, scrum advice, who's the better golfer, who's the better paddle player, everything you've needed to decide who makes your dream team at the Loosehead prop. The guys have given you. We'll see you again next week as we deal with the hookers. But until then, enjoy the Barbers game and have a good week.